So for the last 10 years in the classroom, I've been asking my year 8s, so they're 12 to 13 years old, why do apple trees have flowers? And they're meant to do a report. It takes them about 4 hours, and they produce a lovely, lovely report, several pages long, handwritten most of the time, and about why do apple trees have flowers? Well, they need them for plant reproduction and then to disperse their seeds. It's a nice little report that the kids can really show off their extended writing. Some of my kids use computer for handwriting because their handwriting is not that great, or their spelling's not that great, dyslexia or things. So anyway, so one of my kids, this year was the first year, one of my kids came, put his hand up. This normally takes 3 or 4 lessons. It's nice time for me. I can actually drink my cup of coffee and talk to the children as they're doing their work. One little lad put his hand up after 15 minutes and said, "Miss, I've finished." I was like, "You what?" And it's on a computer. And he was like, yeah. So I walked over, amazing looking report. I was like, "Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. How, how, why, how, what did you do?" She said, "I used AI, miss." And I was like, "I've been using AI a bit, but I just wasn't expecting my 12-year-olds to be able to sort of like just go, 'Oh, I've been using AI like that.'" And I felt really bad because then I said, "No, I think you need to go back and do it in your own words, so at least you understand it." Because actually in the future, AI is his future. He's not going to have to do that in the future. He's just going to say, "Here's a report. This is what I've done." So, but they need to be able to understand what the processing is. So anyway, that's my, kids are getting this. Teachers need to stay one step ahead. So not only do we need to understand why they need to live sustainably and educate them about that, we now have to say, okay, and they're using AI, we should be using AI and learning together. I mean, how much fun is that? So he showed me which program. I'd not used the program he used. So there is a general policy paper from the UK Department of Education, generative artificial intelligence in education, and the DFE are now investing in it quite quickly comparatively compared to climate and sustainability education. For some reason, they've already just given £2 million for AI tools for Oak National, and Oak National isn't the most sustainability minded. So I'm really, really pleased that other organisations are starting to pick up on using AI. And there's all sorts of ways you can use it, linking the curriculum, planning lessons, hands-on STEM challenges, bringing links to global learning. And we're going to go and look at some AI, hopefully, and if it works all right, I'll show you some in a moment. Outdoor activities, talking about climate action, writing a climate action plan. The government strategy says all schools are going to need a climate action plan by 2025. That's next year. How do I do that? Where's the help? And there's some, you can find help online, and the government's new climate ambassador hubs should be able to help with that as well. But, ideas for sustainable fundraising. How can we raise money without selling, plastic tat or, loads of cakes that aren't necessarily healthy? Well, seed packets and things like that. There's all sorts of ideas. AI can help you find that information and generate a nice little report. I'm just going to say a word of warning. AI systems may produce biased results. They tend to be programmed by men, so they're quite sometimes slightly sexist, and they can be gender bias, and the biases that we have in our human society through historical and current social inequality, the LGBTQ plus, that's not necessarily the best. The AI tends not to necessarily realize it's not being the most diverse or inclusive, and they can provide fictitious content. My husband did a literature review using ChatGPT, which I'm going to show you in a moment, and literally some of the papers that it was coming out with were not papers at all. My husband said, "Why are you giving me fake information?" And they said, "Oh, that's what we thought you wanted to see." It's like, this is amazing. You can have like total conversations with these AI chatbots effectively. But you do need to be careful. Anything that you use AI for, you should just go through and double check that you're happy with the content. So we're going to go over to see what ChatGPT can do, this might be where it goes horribly wrong, because then whenever you're doing anything live on site, it's a little bit of an issue. So hopefully, if I go over here, we should be able to see. Now I've got my screen there. So I just said earlier tonight, I didn't write my presentation using ChatGPT. I just wondered what it would say if I had. So I said, create a presentation on the use of AI in education for sustainable futures. And so here's the little slides. Got an introduction, leveraging AI, need for sustainable education, why are we having it, understanding AI. I didn't bother with the definition and things, but so effectively ChatGPT could have pretty much done my presentation for me. So those little personal touches that you might want to add in. And I don't know when I've used Duolingo actually, but so the adaptive learning platforms, it gave me some examples, challenges, best practices, case studies. So, you know, this was amazing. It took the ChatGPT about less than a minute to do that. And if I'd actually wanted, you know, it could have taken me ages. It wasn't perfect. You know, so I can ask questions. So create a lesson plan. I always want to say please for some reason. I've never typed live, I don't think. I'm usually faster than this lesson plan. So I'm going to say create a lesson plan on plant reproduction, thinking about my young man who did his lesson on flowers. Lesson for year 8. There we go. So create a lesson plan on plant reproduction. It's probably going to sort it out. Oh, here we go. So I've got an objective by the end of the lesson. I need what materials I might need. Oh, here's my lesson. I've got introduction, types of plant reproduction. Oh, it's got timings. I mean, how amazing is that? Literally got a lesson. Could probably just about teach it. Maybe go and pick a couple of daffodils out. And so we've got a bit of a practical. It's even given me homework. And I'm just going to say, oh, it's not enough about sustainability there. So let's say link this lesson to, I could say sustainability, but I'm going to be specific. SDG 2, which is zero hunger. SDG 3, which is health and well-being, and SDG 15, which is life on land. So there we go. Linking the lessons. There we go. So I've now got some links to it about plant reproduction, life on land, biodiversity conservation, and it's that easy. You know, I think, you know, it puts the human brain in some ways to shame because it just types it so quickly, much more quickly than me. But that's just one way you can use it. You could ask it to write a climate action plan for a school. You could say, how can a school go plastic free? And it doesn't, you know, there are websites that might be able to help you, but by the time you found the websites using a normal search, this just pulls it all in. As I say, you need to be careful because sometimes the information it provides is not either 100% correct or not necessarily what you want. So I wouldn't do what the child did in school in terms of report. But you can get it to say, oh, rewrite this in the way that an 8-year-old would understand it. And it just takes the text down, takes the complexity of the text down. So you can use it in all sorts of ways. I'm going to go back to my presentation. As I say, there's you know, it's quite exciting in some ways. You can get it to do images. I don't know if you've seen the recent one, which is about the amount of ice melting compared to the Eiffel Tower. It's literally a block, a huge square block, the size of the Eiffel Tower is the amount of ice melting. I don't actually think I've got that slide anyway. Anyway, so I said with one of them, I said, oh, give me a picture of some kids making a solar oven, wearing maroon jumpers, because that's what my kids wear at school. Anyway, they actually did it with a solar panel, and that's not a solar oven at all. So again, you do need to be a little bit careful. That was done with Copilot, which is part of Bing. Canva is a great app that uses AI for doing presentations and things. Really, you know, some amazing things. But the trouble is that time. It's like I don't have enough time to really play with them enough. But the more I play with them, the more entertained I am by it. And you've got there's all sorts of different Slido. The Twinkle's even got AI now, so you know, ask Becky. You know, you can ask Becky on Twinkle stuff. Actually, ask Ari, who's got an AI assistant. They've got interactive, you know, engaging ways, and then data analysis. So AI is superb at data analysis. I asked my kids at school to do a little stick man, and you can make them move. Which is amazing. And then you can make them move in different ways. So you can actually say, and then my little character walked down the street, and then my little character did a dance, and then he can do you can make your little characters do anything. And that's with Meta Demo Lab. But there's loads. You know, go and play, as I say, over the Easter holidays. It's not going to stop now. There we go. Because actually AI can be really, really useful for young people to understand some of the big issues. Oops, that's my timer. I nearly have to finish. Greenland's losing 300 million tons of ice an hour. Okay, so this is just like a crazy amount. And this is how much it's losing in an hour of ice. So because we're living on such a rapidly changing planet, AI can help pupils understand headlines and data in visual ways that might help them really appreciate, what's going on in the world. This is my Turkish avatar. So I have done a little bit with Twin. I'm just going to show you one little thing if I've got another couple of minutes. I'm sure they won't mind. So this, I've worked with Twin over the last couple of years. And one of the best things I've done with Twin is to create some video content. I'm going to show you a couple of minutes of one. It's interactive. And the AI behind some of that is incredible, because what they've done is taken my video and made me into a Turkish avatar. So now I have an avatar. This is my picture on Twitter because I'm so proud of it. I have an avatar that speaks Turkish, but saying the things I've said, which I think is amazing. So let me just go to here. So on the Twin Educator platform, Ebru's going to show you in a little bit more detail. If I go to videos, this is how you get to see me more and more. If I just go, I'm just going to show you the gravity one. There we go. This is sort of thing, the fun I have talking about sustainability education gets me in all sorts of fun positions. So here we go. There's my room. You can see the same room at the background. Welcome, Twinner. Today we've got some exciting work to do using STEM to solve a real world problem. Millions of children around the world cannot do their homework easily. They have no mains electricity for lighting in their homes. When I visited Ethiopia a few years ago, I noticed they were using dangerous, smoky kerosene lamps. Wouldn't it be wonderful to use STEM to solve this problem? Do you like to solve problems? And so there's lots. So I love the challenge. And so the video carries on. STEM, science, technology, engineering, and maths. Can you think of a way to help lift this heavy load? We often use simple machines such as lead. Anyway, I'm going to pause myself there because I literally don't need to see myself. And let me just go back to stop sharing. There we go. Oh my goodness, I'm back. So anyway, that's me. That's just I talk about sustainability education all day long, but even I, as a slightly old, long in the tooth teacher, am realizing that because the young people in my classrooms are using it, I need to start using it, and I need to start understanding how useful it can be in education. And definitely with sustainability education, because it's quite new, because there's so much change going on. Actually, we do need to leverage the power of AI to be able to understand. And I think in terms of, I did have another slide, but I'll just talk about it instead. I think in terms of the future, there's so much power. We can take AI and do citizen science and look at data analysis. We can, use the power of AI for, making presentations. But there's one word of warning on that, is that AI actually uses an awful lot of energy. And so I think if we're going to use AI, we need to think about it sensibly. If we send, all children out in the classroom, in all classrooms, and say, create presentations using AI, then actually there's going to be, quite a lot of power drainage that we need to think about, because AI is, very energy greedy. But as I, there's you're never going to get bored of education when there's so much going on. But it's the time constraints. So yeah, word of warning, just get started, start playing with it. Be a little bit careful about the content it generates, that you need to just double check it before you start delivering it. But I think I'm just about ready to hand over to Ebru, who's going to talk to you about the actual Twin platform and some of the other things that they do with AI that are just growing now. It's so exciting to see such a young company really blossoming this double-winged approach using STEM for education for good. I think it's just so exciting. So Ebru, thank you so much for letting me talk. I could have gone on for at least another 10 minutes.